Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another glorious Company 1 Heroes 3 casting ya. And in this episode, we're going to be going up against community leader, Mr. Monsieur Nathan. Parlez-vous français, garçon? So, this guy right here, community leader, as you can see by the banner tag. And let's go ahead and give that Steam profile a view to confirm the receipts. A little bit of a Doom guy, giving me dirty finisher vibes. What a noob in the profile. I don't know how I feel about this. This guy was a chill guy, so... he seems chill. Let's give him some comeuppance, people. But what really had my noodle cooking is if you look over on the view profile and then quickly check the statistics, my man is holding it down at rank 35 Brits. So we got a rank 35 player on our hands, folks. Now, Vermacht, he was in the 95 ELO range. Africa Core around the 95 ELO range, if I've got that right. And USF, last game played 2 months ago, I was a bit disappointed. But this man knows how to play Company of Heroes 3. So let's get into the recording. Let's start this replay. But yeah, Mr. Monsieur Nathan, chill guy. No negativity to him whatsoever. Again, he, didn't be toxic. So I'm going to try to keep it chill. If you ever see this video, Monsieur, understand I'm a cynical dick and I have no negative feelings to you. So what are we going to do right now, guys? We're going to go ahead and use the Armored Battle Group, get a Engineer Squad going into Jeep. Now, I gave Mr. Steven JF's build a try with the Pathfinder Scout Spam. I haven't had really any success with it. That's a skill issue completely on my part. It's 50-50 for me. Especially versus DAC. I'm just trying to get right back into the game. I was busy with college. I walked away with a 4.0 GPA this semester, so it's looking great. And I've just been contacting schools, being like, hey, 4.0 student, I really want to get the sonography program going. And that's exactly what I've been doing nonstop. But I've got time to play some Co. So what are we doing? Using the scouts to cap the fuel, rush the engineers over to get the manpower point, and start this match off. Now, again, that's a skill issue on my part. If you guys, want a high level caster, Steven JF is a really good player. And, honestly, him, Tightrope, and I was thinking I was watching a Momo, something like that. So, Jeep's out into the field. We're going to go ahead and take the Jeep, immediately hit the C key, and get the capture territory rolling. We're going to use it to get the munis. Now, with this Armored Battle Group, munis is key as much as it is on fuel. So, you've got to be proactive in securing the munis. Now, we could take the Jeep and rush the fuel. Honestly, I want the plus 10 munis. This is very valuable in the early game. Engineers capping the manpower point will immediately rush over and cap the fuel. Why am I doing that? With the munis capped, we can take the engineers and put a mine down and get that ball rolling. On the left side of the map, we have the scouts capping away. And on the edge, I want to get a little bit of look-see to make sure the fuel isn't being taken if I need to roll the Jeep over and get a double pound town with the Jeep and the scouts firing in tandem. So yeah, behold mine glorious Jeep onto the field. Oh, some might say it's overpowered. I say it's barely functional. That's just me, yeah. Because it's ultra-light vehicle. Remember that, guys. Ultra-light. That means it takes damage like no other. What are we doing next? We're going to go ahead into 2 to 3 riflemen. I believe in this match I go 3 riflemen. So, first engagement. MP40s engaged me at long range and dropped me down to about 910 south. I go, well, that's stupid, but hey. The glorious MP40s can hit you at all ranges according to the Reichland Studios, yeah? But that's fine. Putting our mind down. What was I thinking? Possible kitten crad. What I've noticed at the higher level gameplay is a lot of kitten crads will sneak in through here and try to hit it. And I'm putting a mine down. A lot of these guys don't really move out the way. In the middle of the map, we are engaged by 2 grenadiers, and look at that damage burst from the one shot of the grenadiers. Puts our Jeep back into a deficit. So we got to back it off and get some health rolling. Why am I backing up all the way? Typically, if they run you down, like I've run into a lot of players that will actually pursue the Jeep and hope to catch you in repairing and will knock you out. So I'm being very overcautious. I was kind of thinking it was DAC, it's Wehrmacht, but that's on me. Muscle memory at this point. What am I doing? I notice on the left side of the map, engineers are spotting me. I'm spotting him. I go, okay, what we're going to do is take the Jeep, and we're going to go all the way through and hope there's no mine there. And we're going to decap his fuel, hoping to draw the engineers away, and then we'll move our scouts in and put back shots into them. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So Scout's opening up. He's chasing my Jeep like I want him to. Getting behind the green cover so he can't utilize that. And now the Jeep and the Scouts will gangbang him into Pound Town. On the right side of the map, I noticed him. He's decapping with my Grenadiers. Or with his Grenadiers. So I'm moving the Riflemen over. So this was a misclick. I told the Riflemen to move. Both of them. You can see them both highlighted. And only one of them moved. And this absolutely frustrated me. Quick pause. Relic's got to work on the bugs. Now, this patch is actually really good in the 1v1s, but this bug, you can see that both units are highlighted. I told both riflemen to move over because what have I said a million times? You need a 2-to-1 ratio to beat a Grenadier squad. The glorious bolt-action rifles with 2 powerful for the Thompson Model and ZM1 Grands. Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever, but hey, Reichland Studios. So we won the engagement on the left side, but we have to back off his Grenadiers onto the field. It's giving me an idea that Grenadier spam is happening. Now, I was trying to prevent him from decapping my fuel. Riflemen are low. I have to back off that squad. I realize, hey, we've lost lost this engagement. No unnecessary model bleeds at this point in the game, and engineers are going to go ahead and retreat. What I could have done is stuck him behind the bush, but honestly, he's a high-level player. He would have split his forces and bled me at range, and I don't want to risk it for the biscuit. Now, we did decap him delaying his fuel, but he decapped me at the same time, so this puts us at a deficit. Third squad of riflemen onto the field. After we get done reinforcing, we're going to go ahead and pop out a lovely infantry support center. But the infantry support center is overpowered! Now, easy there, Axis main, so I'm only trying to get the captain, and I'm just trying to tech up so I'm allowed to get a Greyhound. So please, please hold your Axis cheesery in the comments. Please, I beg you. Stop. Stop with the Axis cheesery. Germany lost World War II. It's okay. It's okay to be depressed. You lost. That's okay. So, Jeep's going to have to go back in. I'm going to go ahead and use the repair ability. I'm waiting for the cooldown. I could have healed with the engineers, but I feel like the engineers need to be onto the field. That's why I teched into flamethrowers as well. Need to be combat efficient. Now, somebody asked me to use the tactical map. I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I don't use the tactical map whatsoever at all. I only use the tactical map at the bottom, and that's how I keep track of a lot of my engagements. So, we're taking it easy. Excuse me, easy, stutter. Jeep's going to go ahead and hit the repair button. I really need to keep the pressure up. If we're not constantly pressuring this guy, we will lose. I did not know he had 4 grenadiers. I stopped at 3. And yeah, he goes 4. So, rifleman get into the building. What am I doing? He can put rounds into me, but it's going to be less painful with me being in this building. It's giving me spotting as well. My riflemen are shooting down here, and the engineers are going to go ahead and rotate over and put pressure onto him. On the right side of the map, rifleman notice engineer squad. We're going to go ahead and cock block that DP cap, preventing him from bleeding me. Engineers do win this engagement. And riflemen are going to stay into the building and try to take pot shots. Now he's out of range, I could have popped him out. But I was worried about this flanking force down here, and that's why I'm leaving the riflemen in the building. So Jeep's going to win that. We're going to go ahead and decap. Scouts are going to decap. Jeep's going to recon just to make sure the scouts can get the decap. And then over here, as soon as we get the VP, we will run downhill with the engineers, keep the riflemen on the high ground and bleeding him at maximum range. But this works in my favor. High ground does do a little bit more damage. So riflemen getting as close as possible, maintaining the higher ground advantage. And engineers are coming down with the glorious flamethrower. He's going to burn him out of cover, and he realizes the era of his dirty phase, and he's going to back off. He's going to get out of my lobby, son. Get out of here, you dirty little boy. Now, again, no hash to this player. This is how I talk. No negativity to him. He put up a good fight, and he wasn't a toxic dick, which I'm surprised, you know, based off the community leads I've ran into. A lot of them are pieces of, you know, let me stop. A lot of them aren't happy people. So while we are being in control of the map, we're going to go ahead and put down a mine and be proactive. He hasn't teched into minesweepers. Let's go ahead and remind him what happens when you get off my map. Rifleman, moving over to the right side of the map. And in my mind, I was going, hey, he's a community lead. No way he could blob. The amount of people I see crying about blobbing in the comments or in the code forums, there's no way that this dude can blob, right? So that's why I've been spreading out my forces and being patient. So yeah, I have high respect for this guy, right? Right, guys, no way he can blob. Two is not a blob. We're okay with this. We can bleed and decap. This is okay, right? Nope. He's not going to blob, right? And I go, oh, fuck, he is going to blob. Let's get the fuck out of here. Run! Run, my boy! Don't look back! Now, because of Relic's unique movement animation, they decide to go that way, which almost kills me, and I'm like, no fucking way. That is a blob. Take a picture of that, put it on the co-forums. Community leads blob. I don't care anymore. I'm going to blob as much as I can at that point. I don't care. I don't feel bad. If the community leads blob, damn it, you have a right to blob. So do whatever you want to do, people. It's confirmed. Hashtag COH3 community lead blobbing. Again, no hash to this player. I'm being funny. But yeah. So I go, okay. I take a deep breath and I go, alright. This guy's going to blob. He was trying to get a free wipe on me. That's smart. I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, he knew what he was doing. He was trying to make sure that I was getting knocked off the board, at least get 1 unit. Because if you lose 1 unit as USF, it's pretty much GG. So that tells me that he's most likely not going to spread out his forces. And as long as I can keep him spaced apart, he's going to crack. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So left side of the map, I notice the engineers are decapping. I'm like, okay, well, 1 flamethrower model means nothing to me. I can get close with a Jeep, maximize the damage, and put rounds into him. On the right side of the map, we're getting the captain behind heavy cover. The captain with the LMG model can actually do a little bit of damage to the grenadiers. Even behind heavy cover, though, captain takes a bit of damage, which is a bit ridiculous, you know, green cover. So we're keeping him away. Again, we know his blobs on the right side of the map, probably shifting to middle. And on the Jeep side, we know that he's not going to rotate anytime soon. I notice engineers, he hits my first mine, and I go, oh yeah, boy. Parlez-vous français that ass, son. Uh-huh. Now, he's from the UK, but, you know, a name with Monsieur Nathan. I got to treat him with a bit of respect, give it a little bit of parlez-vous français, son. So, what are we doing? Get behind the heavy cover, using the engineers to bleed, keeping him at max range to get the decap, and then rifleman getting behind the heavy cover. He did pop suppression on this damn Flak 30 cannon, and this is why I hate these things. These things will kill infantry, bleed them heavily like it's doing right now. On top of that, they can completely wreck light vehicles. I despise these things. I think they're overpowered. I mean, they're just too good. Engineer's trying to get on the gangbang. Unfortunately, he does put focusing pressure on that, so I have to back off. He throws a nade at my flanking rifleman squad. I would have thrown a nade right here, but that's okay. And then on top of that, we're moving around, trying to keep this gun chased off, putting rounds into it. But even... So what bothers me is this gun is not heavy cover whatsoever. The crew has no protection. And rifleman getting up into that gun's face is barely doing any damage. Like, this gun should be treated like a glass cannon, in my opinion. But we do enough damage to chase him away and reposition, which allows us to take the center of the map, which is okay. So I'm putting rounds into the engineers, keeping them away from me. Rifleman will get opened up on it. I'll have to back off. We did tech into Greyhound while we were, watching the middle of this fight. I'm doing a lot of things while playing this game. So we teched into Greyhound. And again, another thing that I hate is 8 rads can knock over heavy cover. Greyhound cannot. The Greyhound couldn't get through this little fence right here, which makes absolutely no sense. It's very frustrating, and it kills the pathing in this game. So that's another big flaw that I have. There's a lot of bugs going on right now with this update. Again, Relic did a good job on the update for a couple of things I do like. It's coming, but the bugs is pretty substantial. So what are we going to do? I noticed him decapping my fuel on the right side. He hit the retreat button. You know, he got out of dodge. It's very smart, but he's going to go ahead and get the decap. We have to recap that. Left side of the map, we're using our Jeep and scouts to decap his munis. We're being a harassing prick, and that's exactly what I want. Veteran C1, harder to hit. And then we'll get a 50% capture speed of Vet 2, which comes in, a really big clutching kind of tool. And I keep forgetting about this Vet 2 upgrade. Now remember, with the new update, use your scouts to decap. They get Veteran C from that, which is a really wise choice by Relic, and I can support that. I'm like, hey, that gives scouts more versatility and usability. So I'm like, okay, we're looking good, we're looking good. Greyhound. We're going to play it passively. So, there's one Flak 30, there's always two, is what I've noticed. So, there's a lot of cheesery going on, and the Flak 30s will absolutely decimate you. What are we going to do to counter? We're going to go 2 mortars to counter this shit. Now, this was risky. He can easily dive me, and you're going to see later on that he does. He went ahead and swapped one of his grenadiers with the Jaeger, which is smart. What am I going to do with the Greyhound? Get close to him. I go, there's no way you can move the Flak 30 cannon over here anytime soon. And I know if you snare me, I'll just repair it. And he realizes that. He's going to back off. And I'm thinking he's probably saving his munis for, let's go check into his base. A fast medical, which he's already done. This is faster than the USF medics as far as healing. And it's just better all the way around. It's saving my opponent a bit of fuel. It does cost him a little bit more manpower, but that's it. And munis. So, we're going to go ahead and be passive. We're teching into Rifleman with bars next. We'll go nades. I thought he was going to go 8 rad. So, a lot of Axis mains have been complaining about the 8 rads being nerfed, that they're unusable. Well, this guy's a rank 35 player with Brits, and he knows for a fact that 8 rads combined with Flak 30s will absolutely fuck you up. Now, another problem that I have, this one damage burst that was less than 2 seconds has already dropped me almost to about 9/10 health. That gives you an indicator that even with the armored skirts upgrades, that this thing will shred you. Why do you need to be worried about this? Let's go ahead and click it real quick. It comes with a button vehicle. So while your Greyhound is teched in with 1 ability, this thing has 2 abilities. Either I'm going to fucking suppress you to death, or I'm going to button your vehicle, and then I'm going to blow it up while you're buttoned and you can't get away from me. So that's why we're going to be passive during this match. Do not play around with these Flak 30 cannons. They will destroy your Axis vehicles faster than you can react, and it's a bit of a frustration. This thing is an all-round kind of unit. It can suppress riflemen like a light machine gun, and on top of that, it can penetrate your light vehicles easily. Historically accurate, though. Okay, fine. You're absolutely right. But if we're being historically accurate, M1 Grands can absolutely kick bolt action KR98s in the fucking teeth. But hey, that's just me. So second mortar coming out because I noticed 2 of these things. We have to have some kind of smoke and pushing options. I'm hitting with barrages. It's not working. Rifleman behind yellow cover, but we're just stalling for time. Greyhound's going to go ahead and take some pot shots into him. I noticed the Jaeger squad with the Shrek. That's going to be his AT squad that keeps me on the back foot at all times with the high ground advantage. Can fuck me up. So, what are we going to do? You're going to use the scouts to decap the fuel and harass them as much as possible. First 8 rad onto the field. Glorious fatherland on the right side of the map, putting pressure on me, yeah. And I'm going, okay, now we need this Greyhound to not only fight off the 8 rads, the infantry swarming in middle. We're at a disadvantage is what I feel like. Even though we're similar on everything, these 8 rads can dive you like no other. So Greyhound can go ahead and put pressure into him. I noticed 1 8 rad, it'll take time for the second one, so this allows me a little bit of flexibility. His Flak 30 cannons, if they overextend, will be put in a bad space with the double mortars. And his Jaeger squad does pick a pot shot into me, but we have engineers on standby. 8 rad rotated to the left side of the map. I go, okay, we have to back off the rifleman. And this means we're teching into nades because he charged me, so he knows that I didn't have nades teched. He's calling my bluff, but we can use that to our advantage because as long as he's thinking I don't have nades, it works out for us. Now, Jeep's going to be passive. What I should have done is honestly teched into the scout commander. Why I didn't do it is because I was nervous about having not enough muni to keep me into this damn game. And that's a big problem with allies is your muni clap for everything. You're paying for muni with the bars to get the upgrade that's 60 munis. What I should have done is got the Jeep scout commander because I can't use this Jeep in fights anymore. It will just instantly die. And I could have been spotting in the middle of the map. And I'm going to learn from that for next time. So, Greyhound's going to go ahead and heal up using my engineers with the field repair bonuses because I got the Veteran C1 for the mine detonations. And what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and try to hold down the middle of the map. He is being wise, knocking down the heavy cover, allowing his Black 30s to put rounds into me. Captain almost dies, holding up by the skin of his teeth. I do get a snare nade with the rifleman. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab an AT gun ASAP. And that is how we're going to survive this cheesery, folks. There's not really much you can do to counter except hold on for dear life. So, we're going to go use the Greyhound and engage on these Grenadiers. Oh, also, I've been getting smashed nonstop. So before somebody says, I ran into you and I fucked you up, you're absolutely right. I've been fucked up. I've been focusing on real life instead of Company of Heroes 3. And honestly, maintaining a 4.0 in college is the priority. But hey, don't worry, you sweaty basement dweller. You've beaten me in Co. You've shown me. But I do pay homage to people. If you can fuck me up, you can fuck me up. I can't really complain about that. So, Greyhound's going to go ahead and get the repairs, keeping the engineers nearby. We have flamethrowers, you can burn him. I know the Jaegers are here somewhere, so if we can burn him while he's in cover, it works to our advantage. Rifleman getting behind green cover doesn't really do much because he has the high ground, but hey, we're trying to buy time. Greyhound opening up. I'm using the Rifleman to focus the Jaegers with the engineers as well. He is diving me. I'm getting a bit nervous. I'm going, okay, he's diving me. What are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and immediately move the mortars back, immediately move the Jeep back, immediately move the Greyhound back, and try to keep the engineers stalling, but we hit the retreat button on that. We're going to hug the heavy cover. What are we looking out for? Possible nades. So here comes the GG dive, being very cautious. Do get a big hit into the Jaegers. 8 Rads again diving me with the flank. We do throw a counter nade because I thought he was going to nade me. It doesn't work out, but it's not over yet. We moved the Jeep back just enough. And here comes my failure of a nade incoming onto the Grenadiers. And double 8 rods are pounding me. I'm going, okay, we've got to go. He could have wiped me. I would have 100% dove that, but we're moving the Greyhound in to cover our retreat. Mortar does get a big pin onto the 8 rad. This is huge for us. He does slug tap my mine with this other 8 rad. I was hoping it was a wipe. It was not, but this is why mines win games, people. Because of this critical damage onto his 8 rad, that delays his repairs, allowing me to get back in. And there's the flak 30 cannon opening up on my Greyhound, easily penetrating the army because the glorious fatherland never failed in World War II, yeah. Zieg, 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 zieg. All the Ziegel ladies, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. So what do? We know as Gren's capping, most likely not engineers, we can use the Jeep to cap, get a little bit more utility out of it, and allows our riflemen to put pressure into mid, moving the AT gun back in. A big help from my opponent. He knocked down all these bushes for me, and he's really helping me out by allowing my AT gun and riflemen to flood in instead of being hit by these choke points, which is denying them. Mortars are going to go ahead and get behind the lines. We need them to crank out shots. People go, mortars are overpowered in this game. The biggest thing that I say that why mortars aren't overpowered, in Company of Heroes 2, a random mortar shell can absolutely decimate a squad if you get a lucky crit hit. In Company of Heroes 3, it does bleed damage, but it doesn't matter because Grins have med bags. So even if he's bled this guy, what he could have done is backed off, activated med bags, healed this Jaeger squad to full health, and he would have been fine. It's not model drops, it's health damage, people. And a lot of players don't do that, and it frustrates the piss out of me. When they go, the mortars are overpowered! You have med bags on these things. So I throw another failed nade with the rifleman. Moving the Greyhound in, I'm going to put pressure onto the Jaeger squad, that's my priority. Dodging any snares. Now, he almost got me, but we immediately back off, using the Greyhound again to get some model bleeds into him. And he's being very manpower conservative, and it's working in his favor. It's starting to hit us. Now, mortars do get, again, a model bleed. I think a model drop as well. Get very lucky, but the flak 30 cannons are basically unkillable, so he's going to go ahead and back out. Moving the engineers to get a quick repair onto this guy. Oh, I lied. I'm sorry. Probably didn't notice the health bar. But we're going to go ahead, my bad, and use the engineers to press into the center of the map. And we will move the riflemen into the house momentarily. I notice the 8 rad coming across the map. I go, okay, scouts in danger. Let's go back off. Scouts are having enough health to get away. Now, again, 8 rad is underpowered. This is a retreating squad. It receives less incoming accuracy, so it should be harder to hit, harder to kill. And the 8 rad's going to go ahead and burst us down. Now, he could have chased me. 110% could have chased me all the way back to base, but he does not because the 8-Rad can dive through this wall instead of the Greyhound. But he doesn't. Engineers on the middle of the map trying to hold on for dear life. We're getting some flame damage. I don't know where that flamethrower is going, but hey, he's trying his best. And we did panic tech into a Scott. So why did I panic tech into a Scott? I went, hey, I'm not going to survive into tier 4 teching. So what do we need to do? We need to have something to counter the infantry, giving our Greyhound more mobility to attack the 8-Rads. And honestly, we need something to support the AT gun. And that's why I went the Panic Scott. And the Scott right now is in a good place because, boom, look at that critical damage. We finally get to kill one of the Flak 30s. What does that mean? It gets me fucking rock hard, son. I'm moving the Rifleman and to either try to kill or capture it. Moving the Greyhound into support, the Rifleman as well. He does pick it back up, but I'm using the Scott to go ahead and barrage. And unfortunately he gets away, but the AT gun is in support as well. We're catching him off guard. This is what I want. Now, Greyhound gets way too close. I need to back off. Any snare is a bad snare, and if I get snared, he can dive me with the 8-Rads and fuck me up. Rifleman in support. But we're in a good place right now. What am I doing with the Scott? Notice how I'm hugging the building in case he has an AT gun. That is why I'm hugging the shit out of this building. And on top of that, we can put pot shots into him in a very good place while he can't hit me. Now, Rifleman moving in, I'm like, hey, we've got an advantage. We can be aggressive. Mortars are getting bedded up. I'm going to go and use Airburst Barrage on one of the Flak 30 cannons. And there it is, getting some big chunks of damage. Again, barely any model drops, but more health. I do get a snare onto the 8-Rad, but I have to back off because the double 8-Rad Trouble's moving in and with the Jaeger squad in support. But our Scott is cranking out shots. Look at this damage roll. Big damage roll from the Scott. This is what I like. This is what Company of Heroes 3 is all about, and we need to keep this up with these patches, devs. You guys are doing pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I'm getting ready to make another review for this game, and it's honestly looking on point. USF is in a good place. Now, the team games are fucked. The devs have a lot of work to do on the team games, but honestly, Company of Heroes 3 is looking in a good space. But yeah, so what are we going to do right now? We're going to take our breath, catch our time, and try to figure out what the fuck we're going to do. So we're going to put mines down, cover the flank, get mines here, here, and here. Travel paths. I didn't put on the right side of the map because I felt like, based on his attack, I just didn't have enough time. I noticed that he would try to do some sneaky pushes on the left, so that's what we're going to do and capitalize. Moving the Greyhound in with the canister shot. So, canister shot's great at killing infantry. Honestly, the most utility you can get out of the Greyhound is the quick decap raid package, which is great. Why wasn't I raiding with this thing? I was so nervous about hitting a mine, which would have knocked me out. I don't think this guy put any mines down whatsoever. He was saving his munitions for the artillery barrage and his commander. I called it delayed. It's zeroing artillery. It's delayed. I've been here for over 2 years since this game launched, and on it, that delayed already can fuck you up. It used to have massive range. It still has a good amount of range. So he's coming in for another big Z-Kale attack. He's got both 8-Rads ready to go. AT gun is locked in, ready to support. Scouts are spotting for me, and the Greyhound's being a little shit, taking pot shots onto the left side of the map. Focusing on the Jaegers, we're going to go ahead and move the Scott into assault with the Greyhound in support. And we're getting some nice damage bleeds. You know, the Greyhound was doing great. Now, backing off our scouts in the middle of the map, Rifleman can go ahead and get support. I'm like, alright, go ahead and hit me, you little shit. I'm ready for this shit. And he's been stacking munis to use the suppression ability on me nonstop. So mortars are cranking out, failed on the first shot. Good hit with the airburst barrage. And AT gun, again, making sure that 8-Rad does not dive bomb me out of the game. Now, Riflemen are low. We're going to go ahead and back them off. They did their job and try to sustain the fight as much as possible. He's getting ready for another GG push. And that is A-OK! Moving our AT gun and Rifleman back into support. And we're going to go ahead and rotate our mortars. Greyhound's moving over. We will back it off momentarily. Don't worry about him diving your Scott. As long as he doesn't snare you, the Scott can take damage from the 8-Rads. It has enough armor. It's way better armor versus the Greyhound with the armor scripts upgrade, but this is A-OK. Now, I did make a mistake. This is on anti-vehicle. What I should have done is taken it off, and I will do that in a little bit. But we're in a good place. We will lose the AT gun. That is fine. We can recrew it, moving the Rifleman and Captain out of base. And on top of that, we will get a snare with the Rifleman, is what I was hoping. But unfortunately, this game is bugged in Company of Heroes 3, so the Riflemen don't activate the nade, and this is another big bug that Relic needs to work on. But this is fine. We're A-OK. We're in a good spot. We can react to this and be on point. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and recrew the AT gun, get the Rifleman back into base, and taking our time and catching our breath. And I apologize, I know, like, the joke, but I'm going to be a little bit more serious with this casting because this guy is a high-level player, and he honestly deserves that respect. But yeah, looking good, feeling good, backing off. My opponent is cracking, though. He did lose his Jaegers. I did not notice that. So he's lost his Jaegers with the Shrek. He's down on the manpower. I'm sorry, he's down on the population cap. He has plenty of manpower. Excuse me. Now, what he could have done to really harass me is use these 8 rads, because he does have raid packages teched with his vehicle, and he could have been hitting my sides the entire match. It would have forced me to tech into a Chaffee. He didn't do that. So I go, oh yeah, baby! Keep hitting me in the center of the map. He kept trying to brute force me to death. Now he goes Panzer IV. He wants to DPS me to death, and that's A-okay. We're going to go ahead and hold our line. I go, yep, Panzer IV. We can make this work. We're about to have a Easy 8 teched. We have an AT gun that's been putting in the work. And honestly, it's well supported with the rifleman with snares. I'm ready for this attack. He is trying to decap me with the engineers. Fails. And this is to our advantage. What are we going to do? We saw a Panzer IV. Put the rifleman in heavy cover. He's probably going to attack me momentarily. So we're going to put these riflemen, boom, behind heavy cover. And Panzer IV coming over in about... Yep, there it is now. So, what does this do? Prevents my rifleman from being shot on. Allows my AT gun to take a shot into him. Look at that curve. Oh, what the fuck? If I had an instant replay, you saw it, I saw it. Geometry doesn't want to see it. But hey, that's okay. Physics is like, what the fuck? So what are we doing? Using our mortars to crank out. I will put a smoke down in a little bit. But we're using the Scott, honestly, to put a lot of bleed damage into this guy. And that's A-okay. Captain moving in. I've been using his barrage, keeping the captain alive. Captain can come in clutch. Veteran C2 on the captain. It gets Veteran C nearby unit, so this is working out. 8 rad opening up on me. We're not going to move our AT gun to respond to this 8 rad. Now, we will rotate it with the Panzer IV, though. This is what I don't want to happen. So we're backing off, making sure our Scott's in a safe place. Greyhound is on anti-tank. And AT gun is rotated. Going to put a pot shot into him. Boom. Big hit from the AT gun. Forces him off. Now, what do I notice? Double flex opening up on me. We're going to go ahead and pop artillery barrage just to deny the decap. He is bleeding me heavily on VPs. We're not in a good space. Honestly, with the VP bleed in this game, you have to be very proactive. You can't let him just shit on you nonstop. And we're down 100 points. This could GG us. GG us. What have we done? Teched in a war machine. We're building our first Easy 8. This is going to put us into a win. Now, honestly, he did go Panther Commander. If he would have gone Panther, he would have knocked me out. There's no way you can really respond to a Panther as allies. You think you can kill it? You can't. Rifle nades will barely do anything. The 1AT gun wasn't enough. I was getting very lucky in this match is what it felt like. So we're going to use our scouts to cap with that 50% increased cap ratio. Rifleman moving on the right side of the map, putting pot shots into him, using the rifleman cap ability. And Flak 30 opens up. What are we going to do? Immediately use our mortars and get the air burst rolling out onto these little guys right here, keeping them off the field. And I'm like, oh, you dirty cheeser. Get out of my lobby, sir. This is cheese. This is 100% cheese. The 4 Grenadier blob into Flak 30s is cheese. Argue with me. I will fight you on this point. So, what are we going to do? Scott's into the map. Rifleman can be proactive and push. We have the high ground advantage. I want to see what the fuck is going on in this middle of the map. Give me a bit of an indicator. And I go, oh, whoa, Panzer IV, Flak 30 cannon, double 8 rads. I need to go because look at that DPS damage. We got to get out of here. It's already Joe over. It's done. Like Joe Biden's election, it is gone. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, fucking. That's funny. So, rifle on the right side of the map, we're going to go ahead and open up. I go, oh, double 8 rads, we need to go. Because he can take the 2 8 rads, chase me all he wants. This is not my fight. We're not going to win this fight, but we can take our forces, move over to the left side of the map, using the engineers to push. We don't want the Greyhound to get hit by a mine. That will GG us. Jeep, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice. Why did I sacrifice the Jeep? I didn't want to waste any of my munis, and if I was being smart, I could have used the Jeep, tucked it behind here, given me free recon, and I could have been harassing his flat cannons. I will do that in the future. 100% my fault. But I'm like, I need my manpower back, so fuck it. Jeep's got to die. Boom, Jeep's dead, gives me a little bit of recon in its final moments, and I go, okay, looks like he's coming in for another GG push. Now, here comes the delayed artillery. I call it delayed because it takes forever to pop. But what does that mean? Get the fuck out. Don't even think about it. Back everything up because here it comes. Oh, my Zieg! Look at the glorious fatherland. Oh, I hope you know we had the best artillery in Zeeman! And Greyhound's being suicidal. I go, stop it, please. Yeah, look, it's the Zieg rushing. Oh, mein Fatherland. Oh, I zieged all over my keyboard. That artillery brings a tear to mine eye. Behold, the Vreckland Studios. Yeah, it's a glorious artillery ability. But luckily, I dodged it. I'm like, I've dealt with this ability for 2 years. You're not going to fucking give me. It has a short cooldown, by the way, too. You're not going to get me. I've done with this shit. You're not hitting me. So, we got out of dodge. We dodged it. Another Jaeger squad. He's trying to rush Panic Shreks onto it. Riflemen bleed heavily. We're going to have to back them off. But we're moving in our, I'm going to say blob coming out of base. I will separate them. Well, the Axis mains go, look, you're doing it. I've caught you in 4K. I'm like, all right. Now, Easy 8 takes a big shot into him, moving the rifleman, separating them apart. And we're going to go ahead and snare this Panther 4. He's, again, coming in for another GG push. He wants to brute force me to death. He can brute force me to death. And I go, well, I made sure to save my munis, so let's activate the snares. Snare number 1. Snare number 2. Oh, and he drops. He knows what happens, folks. Oh, baby. Oh, Zesty. He drops out of the game. He didn't like that Panzer 4. Now, again, GG to this guy. He's, honestly, he's better than me. I mean, look at his rank, people. Let's go ahead and view that profile again. My respect goes off to him, though. British forces at, 1646 ELO. This guy is good at CO. No hash to him. Fucking, hey, I'll give you a round of applause, bud. If you can make it to rank 35 with Brits, I respect the fuck out of you. Community leader, he wasn't toxic. But I am going to hit him with the blobbing. Come on, my boy. Come on, my boy. How you going to blob on me? Like, come on. How many times in the fucking co-forums have I seen, we've got to stop the blobbing? Okay. We all saw the blobbing. I think it was around minute 9, minute 7. Fuck it. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. If even the high-level players can bring the blob, then if you ever see a video of me blobbing, refer back to this, bring up the receipts, and go, okay, I'm not going to say shit. GG to Mr. Monsieur Nathan! Ah! Parlez-vous français? And I hope you guys have a good day.